Now, when it comes to Kendrick Lamar and Pusha T, things are about to explode. If you're ready to witness one of the biggest collabs hip-hop has seen in years, the kind that shakes the whole industry, hit that like and subscribe because after what Pusha just revealed, the rap world might never be the same. For months, people were asking if Kendrick would hop on the upcoming Clips album. The whispers, the theories, the fake leaks, it's all been leading to this moment. And now Pusha T and Malice sat down with GQ and dropped bombs that no one saw coming. They didn't just talk about music. They exposed how terrified the industry is to see two of the most feared lyricists in rap join forces. Two boogeymen teaming up. That's not collaboration. That's an earthquake. Pusha and Kendrick linking up is more than a feature. It's a power move. These are two artists who don't chase trends. They define them. The fact that they are even in the studio together has XX sweating and rappers reconsidering release dates. Because when these two drop, everything else stops. And the best part, Kendrick didn't just pick any random crew to work with. He connected with the sharpest MCs alive, ready to go bar for bar and show who really runs the rap game. This isn't friendly competition. This is war disguised as music, and the industry knows it. Before we dive deeper into why the rap world is panicking and how Drake's name already got dragged into this madness, make sure you leave that like. This moment isn't just big, it's historic. When it comes to Pusha T, Kendrick Lamar, and this entire interview, we might have just witnessed the most important rap conversation of the year. Forget the usual vague PR-safe talk. This wasn't one of those interviews where rappers dodge real questions or mumble in circles. Pusha and Malice sat down and spoke with fire, dropping truth after truth, and it's shaken the entire industry. Right from the start, they didn't waste a single second. They exposed what's really happening behind the curtain, giving us a mix of excitement for the new Clips album and pure disbelief at how ugly the business side of hip-hop has become. And what's wild is that a lot of the chaos connects directly back to Drake. Yes, the same Drake who filed those legal papers against UMG, setting off a ripple effect that's now hitting everyone in the game. Push revealed something major about the status of the Clips project and why it's taken so long to drop. According to him, the album's been finished for a while, but it's been quietly held back. Deja vu, right? Because this is exactly how Clips' story started back in the early 2000s. Their debut era was plagued by label drama, shelved albums, and industry politics. And here we are again, history repeating itself. Except this time, the stakes are even higher. Pusha made it clear. It's not about talent, sales, or relevance. Def Jam actually loved the album. They were ready to go until they heard one specific verse. The one by Kendrick Lamar on a track called Chains and Whips. That's where things got messy. Imagine that. An entire album ready to drop. And one Kendrick verse had XX panicking. That alone says everything about the kind of message these guys are about to unleash. The industry's scared, and honestly they should be. And now looking straight at what the GQ interview revealed, this isn't gossip. This is documented truth. It confirms that if you were one of the fans waiting on that Clips album last summer, you weren't crazy. Even the Thornton brothers were waiting right there with you. Pusha admitted they felt confident, proud, and unstoppable when they played the record for Def Jam. And the label loved it. Except for one thing. That one thing was Kendrick Lamar's verse on Chains and Whips. The same explosive track Pharrell teased during his Louis Vuitton runway show. Yeah, that song. The one that was supposed to set the tone for this whole new Clips era. Pusha said it was the first track born from these sessions. The one that reignited their spark. But then the industry started playing games. People joked about Pusha showing up at a GNX tour stop to drag Kendrick into the studio himself. But the truth, Kendrick's verse was done long ago. He turned it in. No delays, no excuses. The man did his part, and it's been sitting in label limbo ever since. That's when things got real shady. The interview makes it painfully clear the reason this verse got shelved wasn't creative. It was corporate paranoia. After a wild summer where Drake and Kendrick went at it publicly, and with Drake's lawsuit against UMG still hanging in the air, the label's higher-ups freaked out. They didn't want the optics of Drake's two biggest rivals linking up on one track. They called it antagonistic. Imagine that. Two grown men making music and a billion-dollar label scared of the optics. And the funniest part, there's not even a single disc. The interview says it plain. There's nothing in Kendrick's verse that could be taken as a shot. Not even a subliminal. Just pure lyricism, fire, and a deep line that hit everyone. Therapy taught me how to open up, but it also showed me I don't give up. That line alone gives us chills. It ties perfectly to Kendrick's Mr. Morale and GNX eras. Growth, pain, and reflection wrapped in raw honesty. And now knowing this verse has been buried for months. That's not just a delay. That's suppression. The industry's fear just made this collab even more legendary. Now stepping back and looking at the bigger picture, this whole situation exposes something way deeper than one delayed verse. It shows how rap itself is being tested. We're watching an era where Drake's lawsuit and ego games are twisting the entire genre, scaring labels away from letting real artistry breathe. It's wild to see a time where creative greatness like what Kendrick and Push are doing gets treated like a threat instead of a celebration. This is exactly why calling out Drake's behavior matters so much. It's not just about one beef. It's about how his actions are poisoning the industry, turning what should be moments of triumph into corporate fear. When artists like Pusha T and Kendrick Lamar, two of the most respected lyricists alive, have to fight tooth and nail just to drop a song, you know something's broken. If these two legends can barely release music together, imagine what happens to up-and-coming artists with no power or platform. That's why this moment matters. It's not gossip, it's a warning. Drake's moves aren't just lawsuits. They're walls being built around creativity. And if he wins this fight, hip-hop risks entering its softest era ever. An era where expression gets watered down and authenticity gets buried under brand politics. According to what Pusha said, we almost never got a Kendrick and Pusha collab. The song only survived because Pusha refused to back down. He fought his label until Def Jam dropped him entirely just so he could release freely. That's insane. And here's where the story flips. After all that chaos, Pusha found a lifeline with Roc Nation, going independent and partnering with Jay-Z himself. And honestly, that's poetic because Jay has always been the one to protect hip-hop's culture while knowing how the business really works. His influence makes sure the real ones still have a seat at the table. Especially in a climate where power moves like Drake's are trying to erase that table completely. This isn't just about a verse. It's about the fight for hip-hop soul. And now we're watching the first real consequence of Drake's lawsuit era. A world where artistic expression is being held hostage. The interview makes it crystal clear that Pusha T was disgusted by how the label handled everything. You can practically hear the frustration in his words. He explained that Def Jam actually wanted him to go back and ask Kendrick Lamar to censor his verse. Can you believe that? They really tried to silence one of the greatest lyricists alive just to keep things industry safe. Pusha didn't even hesitate. He said, "Of course, I was never doing that." He stood on business. When he refused, the label doubled down and told him to take the entire record off the album. And after a month of standoff, no compromise, no backing down, Def Jam finally gave up. They agreed to drop clips and release Pusha T as a solo artist, which freed them completely. Think about that. He had to risk his own label deal just to keep a Kendrick verse alive. That's how much the system fears real art right now. But it didn't end in defeat. Once Clips was free, they became the hottest free agents in the game. Multiple labels started bidding for their project, all chasing the heat that Def Jam couldn't handle. And then came the win. Roc Nation. The brother shared that iconic picture standing in front of Jay-Z's building, and it said everything without words. They found a home where they're actually respected and understood. Pusha said the energy there speaks volumes. And he's right. That synergy between legacy artists like Jay and lyrical powerhouses like Clips is about to reshape the scene. But here's the sad truth. Most rappers don't get that chance. Not everyone can walk away from a major label and land in Jay-Z's empire. Most get shelved, silenced, or forced to obey. If Pusha had folded, that Kendrick verse would have been destroyed or cut down until it meant nothing. And let's be honest, Kendrick would never allow a watered-down version of his vision to hit the world. His art is meant to hit with full impact. No edits, no fear. This whole mess proves how fragile freedom in rap really is and how few are willing to risk everything to protect it. Now, even with all the chaos and label drama, there's finally a bright side. And it's massive because Pusha T dropped one more bomb that lit the internet up. Jay-Z is on this record, too. That's right. Amid all the setbacks, the delays, and the censorship attempts, we're getting a Pusha, Kendrick, and Jay-Z moment on one track. That's not just big, that's historic. The article itself confirms it, saying Clips is now officially doing business with Roc Nation and that the long-hyped mystery feature Pusha kept teasing wasn't even Kendrick. It was Jay-Z all along. When the interviewer asked if we're about to get another Pusha J collab, Push just smiled and said, "We made history a couple of times." That smirk said everything. He's hinting that this isn't just another verse, it's another milestone moment in hip-hop. And if that wasn't enough, the interview took another wild turn when Pusha was asked about Drake again. They brought up those weird sneak disses Drake's been sending his way, including shots at Pharrell. And Push didn't dodge the question. He spoke directly, saying that if Drake is so eager to file lawsuits, it's because he knows exactly how much his camp worked to suppress everything around a Didon, those records, and those verses from back in that explosive era. Then Pusha revealed something even heavier. He hinted that the industry has been quietly censoring his music ever since that beef. He said his verses on certain high-profile songs got cut or altered, including Rick Ross and Lil Wayne's Maybach Music 6 and even Pop Smoke's posthumous track with Young Thug. Just think about that. Whole verses from one of the most respected rappers alive buried because of Drake's influence. That's how deep this runs. Pusha isn't just exposing one situation. He's showing a pattern, a system that bends over backward to protect Drake's image while choking out real voices that challenge him. And now knowing that Jay-Z and Kendrick are uniting with Pusha under Roc Nation, that's poetic justice. 3 lyrical heavyweights linking up after years of being blocked, blackballed, and censored. Now coming together with a vengeance. This album isn't just music. It's revenge and rhythm. And once again, it's clear Drake's been pulling strings behind the scenes for years, manipulating, protecting, and bending the system to work in his favor. And honestly, it's wild that we even needed someone like Pusha T to be the one brave enough to call it all out. Because when everyone else stayed silent, he spoke truth loud and clear. In the interview, Push didn't hold back. He said straight up that after all this drama, all this lawsuit nonsense, he just doesn't respect Drake anymore. "I don't rate him no more." Pusha said, "The suing thing is bigger than rap. I just don't rate you. It cheapens the art when we start talking about litigation and lawyers over lyrics. Like, what are we even doing this for?" That line hit hard. He put into words exactly what fans have been thinking, but never said so plainly. Because at its core, this isn't about beef. It's about what happens when someone tries to weaponize the system to control creativity. Pusha made it clear that Drake's lawsuit didn't just target UMG. It sent shockwaves that tried to block the entire Clips X Kendrick record from ever seeing daylight. And that's not competition, that's control. But here's the comeback. With Jay-Z now back in Pusha and helping the song finally see release, the tide is turning. This isn't just about dropping a track. It's about reclaiming power. Jay, Push and Kendrick are all moving strategically, clearing space, and pushing Drake out of the lane he's been clogging for years. The storm's already brewing, and this time the real ones are fighting back. So now it all comes down to this. A moment where expression in hip-hop either stands tall or gets buried under industry politics. And honestly, with everything Kendrick laid down in that verse, and with Pusha T putting his whole reputation on the line, this record isn't just a release. It's Drake's worst nightmare come to life. The irony, he earned every bit of it. This track isn't just a song. It's a statement, a declaration that the true voices of rap won't be silenced no matter how powerful the machine behind Drake thinks it is. Because now with Jay-Z, Push and Kendrick united, this is shaping up to be one of the most explosive and defining moments in modern hip-hop. So now I want to know, what do you think about all this? What's your take on the situation between Clips, Pusha T, Kendrick Lamar, and how Drake's lawsuit has held this project hostage for so long? Do you think this drama is a warning for other rappers that the game is getting too political? Or is this just a special case because of their history with Drake? To me, it's clear we're seeing the cracks in the foundation of the music industry when one artist's legal tantrum can delay a masterpiece like this. It says everything about how broken the system is. But one thing's for sure, this isn't the end. If anything, this is the start of a much bigger fight for the freedom of hip-hop itself. And make sure to like, subscribe, and share because what's coming next, it's about to shake the whole game. And at the end of the day, let's just say it. Hopefully Drake loses this whole thing, because once that happens, hip-hop can finally breathe again and all this legal drama can stay where it belongs, in the past. It's time for music to move forward, for the art to shine louder than the lawsuits, and for artists like Pusha T and Kendrick Lamar to keep shaking the system the way they were born to do. I can't wait to hear what you think about all this madness. Do you think Drake's lawsuit deserves to crash and burn? Or do you think this battle is far from over? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This one's going to get spicy. And hey, if you made it this far in the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. It helps out more than you know. And if you want to see what went down right before this, go check out how Pusha T and Clips's new joint Ace Trumpets prove that he and Kendrick are about to shake the rap world like never before. See you on the next.